Waterloo is one of hundreds of delightful little communities scattered across Wisconsin. Its claim to fame, the home of America's bicycle company.
We're in Waterloo, Wisconsin, and this is the site of Trek Bicycle Factory. And we started in 1976 in a small building downtown, and we're now the largest bike factory in the U.S. And we make the bikes that Lance Armstrong used, and so really we're one of the most successful bike companies in the world, and it all started in the small town of Waterloo, Wisconsin about 30 years ago. I think one thing that makes us so successful is innovation. We really pioneered carbon fiber bikes. And of course, carbon fiber, if you're a racer, is absolutely the most desirable material. And we've been the most innovative company in terms of design. And Lance Armstrong had a lot to do with that. He really pushed our design team to constantly innovate and make better bikes and lighter weight bikes. This bike set records not only on the course, but for the time it took to develop the bike. Lance called up our head engineering people and said that he felt that the time trials would be very important in last year's tour. He wanted a faster time trial bike. This was in the spring, didn't leave a lot of time for product development. This bike went from Lance's suggestion to an actual physical bike that he was riding in 6 weeks, which is just an incredible product development, incredibly quick product development time. We do everything in this facility, everything under one roof, which is very unique in manufacturing today. So we have our industrial designers here, we have our prototype lab here, we have marketing here, we have sales here, we have manufacturing 30 feet away in the factory. Everything is done under one roof. We make bikes out of steel, aluminum, titanium, carbon fiber, and combinations of those materials. Carbon fiber is probably the ideal material for bikes, but it's the most costly. Aluminum is a nice, lightweight, stiff material. Steel is not the lightest weight material, but it's very compliant. It provides a very comfortable ride. So each one of these material types has its own following in the marketplace. So our metal bikes start out as raw tubes that come in a nominal length, and then we cut them to size on a laser mitering machine. And those are interesting machines. They cost about $500,000 a piece. We have 4 of them, and interestingly enough, they're made in northern Wisconsin. These are alignment tables where we make sure that the bike frames are in alignment. So he's using a series of gauges to ensure that every critical portion of the bike is in the proper alignment. This is the bonding area where we assemble the carbon bikes. The carbon pieces, we call them lugs, are made upstairs. It's a proprietary process. It's actually an aerospace process. And each bike takes about 10 pieces. So we make them upstairs, and we bring the pieces down here where they're assembled in a jig. And we use an aerospace epoxy. And some people say, gee, my bike is glued together. But actually, it is an aerospace process. It's the same type of process that's used for increasingly passenger jets. And originally, this process started out with bonding carbon components of military and aerospace. And for example, most fighter jets have bonded carbon components. Bicycle manufacturing is very labor intensive, and there is a lot of handwork. And we give a lot of tours of the factory. And one of the primary impressions that people have is they had no idea that so much work went into making a bike frame. All of the bikes require a high degree of finishing. The bikes that come out of this facility are higher-end bikes. Cosmetic quality is very important. So you'll see a lot of time that goes into the finishing and the painting of these bikes. So all of our bikes are painted with a 2-part paint that is baked on, and then they come into this area where decals are applied, and then they go back on the line and they go into clear coat where the clear coat is applied, and from there they go to our boxing area. Another thing that's very unique about Trek bikes is most of the pro riders are using a custom-made bike. So it's literally a one-off that's made to their specifications. All of our pro riders, including Lance Armstrong, use a stock Trek bike that comes off of our assembly line. And one of the things that we've also done is when he specifies a bike that's for him, we put that bike into production. So you're able to buy the same bike that the Discovery team is riding.